If you've ever dreamt of creating original characters, worlds, and stories that all exist within an interconnected universe, well, then you're just like me. Ever since I was 14 years old, I've been chasing that dream of creating my own universe. I've loved all forms of storytelling ever since I could pick up a book. I'm talking Marvel Comics, the MCU movies, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Power Rangers, the Rick Riordan verse. The list goes on and on. All of those stories and countless other worlds inspired me to create my own. What started off as a single idea eventually grew into a huge interconnected universe of stories. I wanted to build something that would outlive me one day, a legacy if you will. And that's what I've been chasing since the fall of 2014 when I came up with the first story in my interconnected universe. And today, I want to bring all of you into my world. Welcome to the beginning of the Eternal Keyverse. Now, it has taken me quite a while to figure out a script for this video because I didn't know exactly how I wanted to make it. I've been looking at a lot of other videos out there from creators who are doing something very similar to me, and all of those videos have one thing in common. They have really good art. And one thing about me is I cannot draw at all. Literally, I am terrible. I am not a digital artist or anything like that. I am a writer and a storyteller first. So yeah, you guys probably won't be seeing any fancy original art in these videos until I make enough money to commission some. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to the channel and join the Patreon so I can get some money to commission some cool art for you guys, that would be greatly appreciated. But these videos are not going to be about the art. They're going to be about the story. Here's the thing about the Eternal Keyverse that I think differs from a few of these other world building and universe projects on YouTube. It already exists, sort of. It just doesn't exist as a comic or a graphic novel. It exists as books. And I've completed at least 11 first drafts of these stories. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've been doing this for a long time, over 10 years to be exact, and I don't mean to brag, but I think some of these stories are peak fiction, and that's why I wanna share them with all of you. Now, I know reading isn't really the cool thing for a lot of guys to do anymore, and honestly, I fall into that too. I don't really read as much as I want to anymore, which is part of the reason why I even created the Eternal Keyverse, because I wanted to create stories that I wanted to read myself. And knowing my tastes, I know that there's people out there like me who want to read them too. So if you want to dive into the world that I've created, you're gonna have to read a couple of books, but I promise you it's going to be worth your time. Now, as I've been saying this entire video, I've been building the Eternal Keyverse for over 10 years now. I started all the way back in 2014 and it is now 2025. So everything I say from here on out, I'm not expecting it to make 100% sense for you. That's what my Patreon and the future videos on this channel are going to be for. But I did want to give you all a quick synopsis of what my universe is and where it is currently at in this specific point in time. Like I said earlier, the Eternal Keyverse started with a singular story. It has since evolved and grown into 3 main series, several standalones and short stories, and a huge mega crossover event that I call the Convergence War. Think of it as my version of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, just with my book characters and all the different things that I've got going on. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I want to talk about the 3 pillars of the Eternal Keyverse. The first story that I ever came up with for the Eternal Keyverse was a book called The Rise of the Heroes. And it was garbage. It was absolute trash. It was derivative. It was pretty much a ripoff of all my influences. It was heavily inspired by Power Rangers, the Captain America movies, and the X-Men and Inhuman comics. Rise of the Heroes went through a bunch of different versions before eventually turning into Red Skies, which is the current version of the story. 2 sequels were penned after that, which created the trilogy that I call the Prime Archives. Now, this series contains the superhero, espionage, and political thriller sectors of my universe. It also takes place on modern-day Earth. The basic premise of this story is that a new element called primonium that awakens dormant abilities within people with the Prime gene has been discovered, and a terrorist cell known as Nemesis wants to unleash it into the atmosphere and usher in a new era of superhuman dominance. The first book, Red Skies, follows the story of 6 teenage primes who develop superpowers after being kidnapped by Nemesis and are rescued by Atlas Corp, a private military company that is trying to take down Nemesis before it's too late. I call these 6 characters the original 6 as they eventually became the world's first superheroes. You can learn more about them by reading the first 5 chapters of Red Skies for free on my Patreon and on my Wattpad account. You know how parents say they don't have favorite children? Yeah, that's BS. The same thing kind of applies to authors as well. We definitely have our favorite books and series out of all of the things we've written. The Eldenarian Artifacts is the second series and pillar in the Eternal Keyverse, and it's definitely my favorite so far. Think of it as the contemporary fantasy worlds of Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, mixed with Thanos' mission from Avengers Infinity War, with a dash of Avatar: The Last Airbender for good measure. This series contains the more magical side of my universe. It also takes place on modern-day Earth, but mostly within the magical societies hidden throughout the world. I created an entire pantheon, magic system, prophecy, and alternative historical explanations for real-life events just for this 5-book series. The first book, The Black Lotus, follows the story of Michaela, one of the 3 remaining Lightweavers who survived the Purge of Light, and Sebastian, the son of the main antagonist. Together, they must stop a cult of Shadow Weavers called the Order of the Black Lotus, whose mission is to collect 7 ancient relics called the Eldenarian Artifacts that were created by the gods. Now, what do they want with these magical items? Well, you're gonna have to stick around to find out. And what's a universe without alien space wars? Elysium Rising is the 3rd pillar and series in the Eternal Keyverse, and this is where we get to learn more about the cosmic side of things, and it's where the concept of the 9 Eternal Keys is introduced for the first time. Now, I know that doesn't make sense to any of you right now, but you're gonna have to subscribe to the channel and stick around to find out what that means. Now, this trilogy was heavily inspired by the world and stories of Star Wars and the Hunger Games. It takes place in another galaxy not too far away from ours, and the first book is called Gladiator. It's one of my favorite stories in the entire universe. It tells the story of Iggy Amrata, a lowly worker on a salt mining planet who is forced to fight in the Elysian Empire's gladiator arena in order to save his mother. Along the way, he learns of a resistance group throughout the galaxy preparing to fight back against the Empire. Now, I can't say too much about this series as it's the only one that I haven't completed writing in its entirety, but I will say that the last book, Centurion, directly leads into the mega crossover series, The Convergence War. Now, look, I'm going to keep this part brief since I don't really have anything for this concretely planned outside of the book titles and the basic plot, but the Convergence War is basically my universe's Avengers Endgame. It's where all of my characters meet up for the first time, they have to take down a universe-ending threat, and it's where the concept of the 9 Eternal Keys is explored in its full depth. I plan on doing a full video explaining what the Eternal Keys are, but for now, I will say that there are 9 of them and they each belong to a certain character in my universe, and basically the Eternal Keys are the 9 most powerful individuals in the universe. There are 12 stories that precede the Convergence War saga, the 3 series I introduced earlier in this video, and a standalone book that I call Henry Beck and the Hidden Library. Each of these books are split up across 3 different phases, kind of like the MCU, and Phase 1, New Beginnings, is launching soon on my Patreon. Look, I know I haven't revealed too much about the Eternal Keyverse in this video, but I plan on releasing a lot of videos in the near future going in depth in each of my series, characters, world, and so much more. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to know, definitely drop those down in the comments and I'll answer what I can. However, I did want to give you guys a sneak peek of the main villain for the Convergence War. Now look, the Eternal Keyverse isn't just a collection of random stories that I came up with one day. It's a dream that I've been building for over a decade. It's the result of a lot of late nights, constant rewrites, endless sacrifices, and the part of me that never stopped believing in creating real stories. And here's the thing, all of you can do it too. Look, you don't need a massive following or crazy art skills or even the recognition of a massive publisher. You don't even need the perfect idea. You just need the courage to start and the discipline and faith to keep going when it gets hard. Because trust me, this is going to get hard if you're going to start a project like this.
What did he say?
But you also have to believe me when I say it's totally worth it in the end. Your stories matter. Your characters, your world, your ideas, They deserve to be told, and they can only be told by you. If my journey of creating the Eternal Keyverse says anything, it's that anyone can be a storyteller. So whether you want to write one book or a comic or a graphic novel or an anime or whatever it is you want to create, you can create it. And hopefully this video has shown you that you can make it happen and that it inspires you to share your stories with the world.